morning, good afternoon, good evening, lovely Equine family. Welcome to Town Hall number 52. I'm joined this time by the lovely fence maker. Mark unfortunately could not join this one. However, I will be covering the marketing parts, which Mark usually covers. As usual, we'll wait a few minutes for people to join in, and we will probably have a fairly short town hall. I apologize if I don't look great. I am a little bit exhausted. However, as usual, we're committed to bringing this town hall whenever possible to give you the latest updates, which we have a few this week as well. Let me see. We have another of those cool renders that we got from our 3D team as a cover page for this town hall. You can see Rocky celebrating his victory. It's obviously a target state for the 3D viewer. It's not in place right now with this kind of graphic. Hi, Basket Rover. Hi, Fabamo. Let me put this. What's this? Is and we'll go over our updates in 2 more minutes as people join in. Hi, Los Tigres. Guess to answer closer than ever. Though that's fairly easy to say whenever you're making progress. Technically speaking. Hi, Recruiter. Okay, I suppose we can start. All right, so let's go over the content. So what's happening today? We have an update on the race viewer. We have update on development in general, game design update, some marketing updates, and then AMA. If any questions come here, we don't have any questions from the Discord. So if anyone wants to pop in any questions, or bring them here on YouTube during the live chat, feel free. On the race viewer side of things, we have, first of all, our primary focus actually for June is to integrate the race viewer, the 3D viewer. We've been testing and expanding the testing group actually, so that now we have all 3 of our moderators. We have Rachel, our marketing manager, all of our co-founders, some more of our developers, and game designer all have access to the closed beta. We're fixing things here and there as we spot them, but our main focus actually is to integrate the 3D viewer. Right now, all of the races just show you the final result after it's done, without showing you the actual progress of the race. So we want to bring in the race viewer so people can see how the race actually developed. we've made significant progress, so that I think by the end of last week, or I mean this week, we had already identified the last missing parts to be able to integrate the race viewer, and we hope by end of next week we should have those available, which should allow basically all of our races to show in some form in the 3D viewer. There might be hiccups along the way. We might spot other issues such as compatibility with other race details, etc. But we will hash those out as we work through them. Why this is a major milestone for us is when we first started, we started with separate tracks, one for the blockchain part, one for the web app, and one for the 3D viewer. And as you guys can see, they are now converging. And if we have this integrated, we will basically have all three parts together in one package for the first time ever. And then all we'll need to do after, and I say this at the risk of making it sound too simple, but we will need to be polishing, fixing, introducing, let's say, features that are still missing, etc. But the main integration of all these separate parts should be, for the most part, resolved. So it is a big milestone for us. And we look forward to being able to share that, I would say, fairly soon, possibly as early as by end of next week. I mean, this coming week, starting tomorrow. That's all from the race viewer side. Nick, please.
Yeah. Wow. Ouch. I think you pretty much said a bit of that, but the racing API integration is now complete. What that means is that we have fully moved all the racing server calls to the main app. So in the main app, you can now enter your horse to race, cancel, see your results, get your horse back, scratch. Everything is working. So the whole workflow is finally up on the actual beta. Like Fahad said, it's a closed beta for now, but it's still good to see it in action. And there was some problems with the result page because we had not seen it much. now we finally get to see some results. So we're just making sure everything is progressing and showing the right things. And also, we get a feeling for the user experience now a bit more. So sometimes when you see the screen, even though you designed it like 2 years ago, now you see it and you're like, meh, I'd like to see that. I would like to have more info on this. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of room for, little tiny adjustments and improvements, but still good to get to see the result screen and actually do some little improvements there. So I'd call that a win anyway, but yeah. So we're getting all the way to the results. And then, yeah, there was a problem with the smart contract. It had a big inefficiency that we resolved, where it couldn't actually, I don't know if you guys know the smart contract limitations right now. There's memory and there's execution units. So basically, it cannot take too long to validate your smart contract. Otherwise, you get kicked, it gets canceled. It gets basically your transaction doesn't work. So we had a computation limit. Basically, the smart contract was not efficient enough to run with more than 9 horses in a race, which was a big problem because we were planning on a lot more than that for races. And so we had our smart contract dev optimize it, look into ways to just make it more efficient, basically just really crank out more execution cycles out of it. And we got up to 24 horses, which basically is not a limiting factor for us anymore. 24 is fine. Like, we can do every race that we were thinking about. If we ever want to get fancier with like very special races with more than 24 horses, then that can be maybe in the future when we can further optimize the smart contracts, or when the Cardano blockchain accepts slightly bigger execution unit maximums. So that's a bit technical. Basically, now we can get 24 horses in a race and it's fine. Yeah. Additionally, well, now Fahad said that. So yeah, we've expanded the testing group to more employees. We'll wait until the experience is as cool as we want it to be, and we got everything integrated with the 3D before we get any of you guys into it in an open form of beta. But it's definitely getting better and better. More people. How many people do we have that have horses? Like 8. So eight
We
people.
have
Eight.
so the three
Eight.
mods: you, me, Kayo, and then there's Marek, Zach, Guillaume, and Craig. If I didn't mention Craig already,
So that's like 10.
yeah, and
Yeah. So
Rachel,
we're
11. Yeah,
all right. So yeah, it's getting we're testing everything out, meeting some small kinks that you only meet when you actually use the product, which is pretty much normal. And just getting everything together. I can't wait to actually have a 3D viewer. That's gonna, for me, that's like a psychological milestone. I think it's gonna be a very
huge,
big one when we can
huge one.
click
Yeah,
like show me the race, and it's gonna show the race. It's gonna be a big deal. So yeah, that's where we are for dev.
that's good. I think there's also a few more blockchain improvements that are slated. Maybe we didn't have them listed here, but they're in the works. Mainly improvements about how we handle the blockchain code, different ways for supporting the features that we currently have on the website, etc. So we're working on those as well. There's a bit of a list of improvements or fixes that are in the line or in the queue of things to be done. But they're being done in parallel. We'll be pretty busy actually with the 3D viewer integration. I think soon as we also roll those out. Perfect. Okay, on the game design side of things, all feature races are now scheduled. So those have been done and they specify also the week, day, and start time. We have discussed basically how we will be handling weekends over the course of different months, which have different numbers of weekends, and how we will handle those scheduling for future races so that the biggest races are held on the right times for the user base, that people can join them and get excited about them at the right time, and we have the best experience. So we've already had those discussions and we have already logic for that. And Craig has actually been working mostly on this the last period, and again we realize how important this is. The instance race schedule also is now being completed for the older groups. Now, on the marketing side, we've seen a lot of excitement come from this announcement. We had actually internal discussion about the invitational. We've realized a lot of people were enjoying the invitational, but some others were also claiming that, or stating that, I would say, the invitationals have been around for maybe too long, that they need to be around. And we realized that we're now connecting the 3D viewer, even though it's not yet in fully functional state. We're very, very close to that. So we're actually taking a little bit of a risk by fixing this now, but we also have a fair enough buffer, I would say. So we decided what we're gonna do is we're gonna skip June from the invitational. We're gonna take registrations during June, end of June, and we're gonna take the prize of June and double it up, add it to the July intended prize, so we have a double kind of prize size. And then we intend to host the July invitational, which will be both June entries for July, and we want to run that on our own 3D viewer. And whether that will be run on the 3D viewer without a blockchain race, or whether we will do this on the blockchain using 3D viewer, depends on the progress. We might just do this as a 3D race without the blockchain part, so we may not host this on the blockchain, but rather just host it or show it using the 3D viewer. With the right disclaimers, this will be using our current version of the racing engine, which may not necessarily be fully balanced. We will still work some balancing through. It will maybe not be what you guys expect with the mainnet release, but still it is a chance for us to see how that rolls out. Horses may be randomized in some aspect just to avoid any spoilers. We may randomize the mental stats or do something differently just to keep things fair, as you guys already see the physical stats, but not the mental stats. So those details will be let's say clarified to a great extent, and that's the intention for the invitational. And having that in July using our 3D viewer is also part of our overall progress. So registrations will be June 24 to 28. We'll hold a raffle among the submissions, so it won't be first come first serve. And we'll keep our owner chatlets updated on the beta testing and keep you guys posted on that. All right, so AMA, we did not have any pre-scheduled questions. Let me see if there's anything that just came up. I don't see anything on Discord. There are here. So there's a question here. Next Invitational with equine horses. So yes, that is correct. As I just explained, there is Slick D. Rick says, I smell a scam. Well, I don't know where you're smelling, but it should not be here. There is a question from Fabamo. Will start times be in universal time? Will they show the gamers time zone? They should be adjusted to the gamers time zone. It's a fairly simple actually adjustment. So we're scheduling them in UTC. But then it will depend really on the user. It should adjust basically for the user's time zone. And then prize money maybe for the first 5. We can do that adjustment as a one-off. Let's see how that works out. We'll keep you guys posted as usual. If no more questions, this was actually a fairly small. Okay, we have questions. That's fine. Keep them coming. I'm happy. If the smart contract can handle 24 horses, how does that work for instanced races?
Basically, it's per instance. The horses will get split into their instances, and then the smart contract will apply for each instance independently. That's already how that was. But I'm just explaining it for the first time, probably.
Yeah, I didn't. I actually probably miss. Also, I did not explain it well earlier. But it's the smart contract. It's not that it could not handle 24 horses in a race. It could not handle a lot of horses in one instance. So when we had actually maybe even in a race, that's a good question. But yeah, when we had. No, that's because it was a big field size. So we had a field size of I think 12, and I had entered like 11 horses, and that's where it broke, and that's what triggered the investigation and found that we need to expand the smart contract or optimize it rather. One more question from Aero Creator, which is for the invitation in July, will jockeys be used? The answer is no. Unless we are able to add this, but I don't want to commit to this now. So it will probably just be a more simple one, just with the horses. If we can't support them, I will be happy to include it as a bonus. But we already want to prove that we can get this done in a working way. So I won't take this up as a commitment unless we have time to implement it. Okay, that is probably it. Of course, Basket Rover, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who did tune in. This was a little bit short. We appreciate your patience. And we had to make this one a little bit quick, but we're fairly exhausted. Thank you again for your understanding. We hope to see you guys in the next town hall, and we'll keep you as usual posted with updates as they come. And we can't wait to share with you some great news on the 3D viewer integration. We will probably not wait until the town hall, but rather put an announcement as well when that is in a functional state, if it happens before the next town hall. We will keep you posted, and yeah, thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next event.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.